Alrighty, we're going to start off right now with the asset store, which allows us to design beautiful, pretty, wonderful levels. I'll do a simple thing. I'll try to make, maybe using assets, let's pre-plan a little bit. I'll make like a mountain with like a park with some trees and stuff, and our game will climb up a mountain and we'll fight monsters and we'll fight a boss at the top. That's what we'll do. So I'll start looking for some mountains. I'm going to go to the asset store at the top. I'm going to click asset store web, and I'll sign in with Google. I don't mind all of my random tabs. And I'll sign in with my school account. Okay, so let's find some assets. I want some 3D environments. And, let's go landscapes maybe. Okay, these are $40, $90. Let's sort by pricing free for sure. And I'll grab low poly simple nature pack I like. I've seen a lot of my students use it. Let me see if I see anything I like better. I'll grab RPG poly pack. This looks cute. Let's open that in Unity. And now when I find something I like, I can open it in Unity. I can click download. I can click import, and now it's going to create a new folder in my assets. So RPG LT, this is my new folder. So now I have all of these wonderful assets to use. I can grab some nature, some rocks, and I can start dragging in some rocks. Oh, but there's a problem. When I drag this in, everything is pink. It's not exactly what we wanted. We could go to Window, we can go to Rendering, and we can go to Render Pipeline Converter, and these options will fix the pink issue. I'm just going to check all of them. I'm going to hit Initialize, and I'm going to Convert, and it should convert them from being pink into being their correct textures. This is the easiest way to do that. There are other ways, but that's the easiest way to do it. Let's go to prefabs. Let's go to props maybe. I'll go to maybe, I don't know what hangers are. Oh, those are hangers. Buildings. I'll put some buildings around. Maybe I have terrain, nature, terrain. Well, that's really big. That's okay though, we could use it. So I'll start using these as my terrain, these things that I grabbed. And I will actually delete the ground I was using. And I'll drag in some terrain objects. Maybe I will stretch the scale of these out more. And maybe that'll be my basic terrain ground instead of my flat thing. And maybe I'll just decorate. Maybe I'll put in some... Okay, maybe this will be the mountain that we climb up. And I'll put stuff going around it leading to the top. And this will be a base camp at the bottom. And that'll be simple enough for our first little thing. And maybe I'll go back to our buildings. And I'll throw together a little town out of these assets. Now, I lost track of where I am. I can click player and press F and focus back in on my main game. And I'll drag in some of these. Okay, cool. And that's using the asset store. Honestly, that's pretty nice. But let's press play. And let's start seeing what happens when we press play. So my player falls through the floor. Okay, so these assets were cool, but they're missing something really important. I fell through the floor. What are they missing? Oh, I see. These are all missing a component. They're all missing a collider component. I'm going to select all of these things I just added, and I'm going to add component, and I'm going to look up mesh collider. What that does is that gives them these green lines. These are the collider lines. So now I can actually collide with these things. Again, whoops, I lost track of the one I just made invisible. There it is. So now all of these things have colliders. Now I won't fall through them. I added colliders to them. Great. Okay, so I could walk around. I could jump on things. Cool. Let's run over here. Cool, so I can start climbing up this mountain. Maybe I'll make some objects I can interact with. Okay, cool. So I can run around. Oh, my camera is kind of clipping into that mountain a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. Let me see if I could fix that. No, I won't be able to fix that. It's okay though. Okay, cool. Let's add some other stuff. Maybe I can go to prefabs. Maybe I can go to props. Maybe we could add some other things to make this nicer. Again, I'm just messing around. I added this pack in. I'm just dragging some stuff in. To kind of fill out the world a little bit, make it nicer. And I'm just dragging some stuff in, you know? Dragging in some trees, maybe. Maybe the entrance to the mountain is like the pine forest. Maybe there's a nicer forest over here of smaller trees. I could select all of these and copy and paste them to add them more quickly. So maybe I grab all these trees I just added and copy and paste the whole thing to fill out a whole forest. So I hold Shift and I select all these trees and I hit Control C to copy, Control V to paste. And I can make whole huge forests really quickly. Now all these things I just added, none of them have colliders. So let me again make sure to add component, mesh collider to everything. So now everything has a mesh collider. That's great. And now my organization is getting really terrible because I added all these assets from the asset store. My game's really disorganized. So maybe I should start creating some organization things. So I'm going to hit plus in here. I'm going to create empty. I'll name this trees. And I'm going to select all my trees. And I'm going to drag them into the trees category. And I'll do the same thing. I'll put plus, create empty. I'll hit ground decor. And I'll put all these flowers and plants and rocks into ground decor. And I'll create another one. Create buildings. And I'll put all my buildings into this building section. Rocks, ground decor. And I'll grab terrain, hill, mountain. I'll put all of that into a terrain section. And I have 2 grasses left that should go into ground decor. Oh, no, I lied. These are terrain grasses. They'll go into terrain. And now I have all of my terrain in this terrain object. I could look inside, mess with my terrain. I have all my buildings in this buildings object. I have all my ground decor objects in this ground decor. And let's add more ground decor. Let's throw some extra ground decor around. And I have to reorganize that. But you know what? I'm going to do it a lazy way. I'm just going to grab all of it and throw it back into ground decor. All right, that's cool. I'll add one more create empty object. And this is all for organization purposes. And I'll create a, not terrain, I'll call it my level design folder. And I'll put all of this stuff into level design. And that looks pretty great. Alrighty, that all looks fantastic. I have a beautiful level. I can run around it. It's all really well organized. My camera doesn't have camera collision, so let me just double check why that is. Camera rig, collision layer default. Say collision layer everything. We'll mess with it more later. I'm not stressing it right now, but my camera should not be colliding with all that stuff, but it's fine. Okay, This looks beautiful. That is the Unity asset store. We grabbed stuff. We created a beautiful level. I think it looks amazing. I'm going to stop right here, and in the next one, we'll add player animations. Actually, while we're doing level design, let's do one more thing. Let's make some physics objects that we could play with. So let's go to our prefabs. Let's go to our building. No, let's go to prefabs. Let's go to props. And let's throw in some stuff to play around with. So I'll add some tables with chairs and some items on it, and we'll make them work a little bit differently. So maybe I'll throw some tables out. Maybe this is like the dining area in the center of town or something. And maybe I'll grab some chairs and throw some chairs around it, and I'm just going to place all these chairs on one side, and then you'll see I'm going to place the chairs on the other side in a slightly different way. But I'll place all these chairs around these tables. Okay, now for these chairs down here, I'm going to drag them in. And then I'm going to select all of them at once. And I'm going to rotate on the y-axis all of them at once to rotate them all around. That worked well. Okay, so I have some tables and chairs. I'll go to my prefabs. I'll go to some props. Let's put some... these tables need to have colliders so I could place things on top of them more easily. Select all of these tables by holding shift. I'm going to add component mesh collider. And let's just put some random stuff on these tables. And we're going to do something fun with all this stuff in a second. Containers, hangers, items, chairs, containers, hangers, shields. Sure, put a shield on it. Why not? Oh, that shield only renders from one direction. I'm not going to use that. That's a wall decoration. Chairs, benches. Okay, good enough. Okay, so now all this stuff, all these tables, let's throw colliders onto everything. So let's make sure they all have mesh colliders. And let's add a rigid body to everything. And for mesh collider, while it has a rigid body, weird thing, but it has to be convex. We're going to check convex, and we'll press play. And those might clip a little bit. It's not too bad. And now I can run around, and I can push all these objects around. And that's kind of fun to have these little physics objects set up. Maybe I want to climb up on this house. Maybe I push a table over here. Stand up on this table. Use it to jump up on this house. So you can create little physics objects by giving things rigid bodies and mesh colliders. That's also really fun. Cool. Next, we'll do an animated player. And that is going to take a while, but it'll be beautiful. And then maybe we'll do some NPCs.